straightforward to really begin.
Mm-hmm.
And the way you begin that is how?
Well, I think we begin by realizing that incarceration and punishment in terms of approaching drug use has failed, and what we should be doing is taking people that need help and giving them treatment. I mean, most Americans, surprisingly, actually agree with that statement, and yet our policies just don't yet reflect it. It's pretty common sense. You throw someone in a cage who's got an addiction problem, they're not going to get better. They're not going to reform, you're not giving them the services they need to, rehabilitate. So what are they going to do? They're going to reoffend. They're going to continue and relapse. And so most Americans are now waking up to see, wow, we've got to take a different approach, which means helping these people that have a disease of addiction. And for the people that don't, the vast majority of drug users don't have a disease, don't have a problem. So we need to stop treating them as criminals.
So for folks unlike Pat and I that are actually allowed to contact their General Assembly member, how's the ground game looking this session as far as the bill goes? Because I'm trying to get a response from my own state senator and my state rep, and the silence is deafening down in my neck of the woods. But I hear that there's some momentum for this session.
Well, the public is totally on board with this. We had a survey come out and show that 57% of Rhode Island voters support regulating marijuana like alcohol. So the public is there. The coalition, we have doctors, clergy, law enforcement, parents, teachers, all a part of this Regulate Rhode Island coalition. What we're seeing is a lack of response, just as you said, Tony, from the politicians, which I think is very disappointing. We had these state leaders say that they were going to take bold leadership, they're going to take bold action to turn our state around, and yet we're not getting any responses. So the door is still open for us. We could still pass the bill this year, but it's crucial that everyone listening to this contact your state legislators, that means your state representative and your state senator, and tell them to support this and pass it this year.
But if your local animal shelter needs a $500 grant and there's going to be people there taking pictures, well, they'll show up for that. But
Right. But 57% of the state, I guess, is not enough to get their attention.
Well, I think we should have voter initiative here in the state of Rhode Island, because with those polling numbers, you would have absolutely no problem, passing a petition and getting something like this on a ballot and getting it done toot sweet, as they say up in Woonsocket.
Absolutely. And just one quick comment, a lot of legislators have asked me, well, why don't we just wait and see? Why don't we just see how Colorado plays out a little bit more? And my response is always this. The reason it's urgent is because we know other states are going to do this, and we have an opportunity right now in Rhode Island to capitalize on a new market and get on the ground floor, give our entrepreneurs a head start. This is going to create jobs, hundreds if not thousands of jobs. A lot of that's going to go to young people. It's going to help stop the brain drain problem.
And never mind the industry itself. I mean, when you're the first one in the pool or one of the first ones in the pool, you've now created this structure of professionals who are now going to, when other states decriminalize and legalize, they're going to be in demand to go out and consult and create these, and help out with crafting legislation and setting up the business community. I mean, so, you're creating a kind of a dual level demand at that point. A demand for the product, for the industry, but also a demand for the professionals who work in that industry in the other parts of this country.
Absolutely. And businesses are going to be more likely to headquarter in Providence or in Rhode Island if we're the first state. If we let Massachusetts go first, which they're going to have a ballot initiative next year, and it's very likely to pass. If Massachusetts goes first, all those businesses are going to flock to Boston. They're going to go and right across the border. So if we don't do it this year, and this is what I say to every legislator who says, well, what's the harm in waiting and seeing? The harm is we're going to lose a lot of jobs. We're going to lose a lot of opportunities for people in this state to get a job and create a new business. So why would you deny them that? And we've waited and seen long enough to know that prohibition is the worst policy we could have.
Right. So real quick, take a minute, tell everybody out there where you can find Regulate on the web, Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff.
Absolutely. So it's regulateri.com. You can sign up for email updates there. You can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/regulateri. So just search for Regulate Rhode Island. And then, of course, on Twitter, we're just Regulate RI. So very simple.
All right, so thanks to Jared Moffitt from Regulate RI. Again, this kind of the tip of the spear for the legalization movement here in Rhode Island. I think we're going to do another tune or two here.
We're a little over halfway through the broadcast. We've been sitting on these uncomfortable chairs for hours, so I figured I'd cue up a tune to kind of get our blood boiling. We're going to Hulk up as Hulk Hogan used to do. So we're going to go down to a little Iron Maiden, and we're going to hear The Trooper here on Rhode Island Free Radio.
After the break, we're going to have Mark Ward from Rhode Island Normal.
All right, freeradio.org. We'll be with you live until 4 p.m. How about a little Iron Maiden?
You better stand, there's no turning back. The field of sounds, the charge begins. But on this battlefield, no one wins. The smell of ice smoke and horse's breath as the birds run into sudden death. A little Iron Maiden to get the juices flowing so we can Hulk up because, well, we're one of the few radio outlets, one of the few alternative folks that actually go out there and do live broadcasts just like the old days. You know, a lot of these internet stations are situated in someone's mother's basement.
and but not us. We bring the. I've been called at one point the most legitimate person in alternative media, and so we're out here. We're live.
Does that hurt you when people say
that does hurt my feelings? Yeah, I really. They were trying to compliment me, and I took it as an insult. Actually, well, we are broadcasting live from the 2015, the first ever Rhode Island Cannabis Convention. Still a big day ahead today, if you can make it down at 4 p.m. I actually just walked through the medical marijuana entrepreneurship and employment session that's going on right now. A lot of great talk going on down there. Today at 4 o'clock, marijuana as medicine, a panel going on. And then at 5 o'clock tonight, Sativa, the great debate. A full day of events tomorrow on Sunday, May 17th. Of course, we'll be here broadcasting live on freeradio.org. It'll be myself. It'll be the PO taxpayer. I just saw the PO taxpayer wandering around like an Alzheimer's patient, so I'm sure
sundowning. It's getting late in the day.
I'm sure he'll be back here pretty soon. I am joined by Dave Fisher from the Coalition. Of course, you can go to coalitionradio.us. Not only do you get the podcast, but also, Dave, over at coalitionradio.us, a lot of great blog content.
Well, I'm known as the grenade thrower over at Coalition. I take on any and all political comers. If you're gonna, as we say in Woonsocket, talk isht, I will call you out. I will do the research, and I will have my numbers.
Which, by the way, we were talking about Google Analytics earlier, and I had mentioned that someone was Googling Tony Jones RI naked, and it was leading them to my website. As I was doing some other analytics, when someone Googles luxury chicken coop, they are brought to coalitionradio.us.
That is true. One of my more satirical blog pieces was over the seemingly inane discussion we were having in the city of Woonsocket politically about whether or not to let people keep chickens in their backyards, which seems like a very innocuous issue, but it just dragged on.
Unless the chickens are there as sex slaves, then it's a total different issue.
But it dragged on for months and months, and it basically gave us in the city of Woonsocket the most expensive and onerous chicken keeping ordinance in New England for any city or town. So for the privilege of having chickens, you can pay the city of Woonsocket $350 for the privilege of keeping up to 6 hens in your backyard for egg production. No roosters. Setback requirements, hearings before the zoning board of review for your chicken coop, which led me to my, again, satirical post on the luxury chicken coops now available in the city of Woonsocket.
We talk about civic involvement a lot on this program and on RI Free Radio, and part of the reason that people don't want to get involved in real politics, which start on the town level, is because of things like that.
It's the inanity. Give someone an inch and they think they're a ruler. The zoning board in Woonsocket is the most moribund government agency. There you go, folks. There's your vocab word for the day, moribund. It just they draw a lot of water, and they exercise a lot of power over people's lives and livelihoods, and they relish it.
And there's unfortunately people that get involved at that level simply because they get their jollies from pushing people around.
Yeah, I think it comes down to codified bullying, basically. Yeah. It really does. So on that note, we're going to shift away from bashing our local governments and probably get into bashing our state government
My
a little bit
tires
more.
in my car at home are getting slashed as we speak.
Mark Ward, who is the executive director of the Rhode Island chapter of NORML, which is the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Law. NORML, obviously not afraid of that word marijuana. I know people are trying to change the nomenclature.
Not afraid. Well, the thing is, Norcal just does not sound as good. So, I think we're going to keep with normal for now.
Which a lot of people don't realize that. Maybe I shouldn't mention this while we're broadcasting here, but I remember being a young man and getting a hold of one of my father and my grandfather's Playboy magazines from the 70s, and in it was an ad for NORML. NORML's been around for a long time.
Yes. Since the 70s, they have had the chapters. That was Keith Stroop who originated NORML, and we're carrying that on, about 2 years strong now for Rhode Island.
So just I know we've talked about this before, but